Hello YouTube, wanted to make a video on how to print on glass. So this is just plain glass. Don't have any hairspray on it or any tape or any glue stick or anything like that. It's just clean glass. So the big part of the big secret is first of all you have to have a good distance between your extrusion head and your glass plate, and I'll make another video on how to set that. But pretty much the big secret is preheating your bed. We're using PLA here, and I'm gonna go with the extrusion temperature of 195 and a bed temperature of 60 for the glass. And kind of the secret is the glass won't quite reach 60 degrees even though the thermostat temperature will say it. So hopefully that screen will show up. So what I'm gonna do here is set this. I'll go back a little bit so maybe you can see my button pushes. And you just want to start by, first of all, make sure you have a good home. So I'm going to home all. Then after that, I'm going to go down to Preheat Pla. And I don't know why the settings kind of don't like hold on there. After you push the enter button for it, you need to go back to the main menu and make sure it says preheating. And in this case it's gonna take the bed up to 60, but it's only going up to 190 for the extrusion head. So I'm gonna go back to my menu, go to extrusion, and then go to temperature, hit enter on that, turns it into a star, just go up to 195. Hit enter, that removes the star. Go back to the main reports menu and see now it's at 195. And you want to wait until it reaches those temperatures. So that's going to take, a couple minutes for that to climb up to the temperatures. That's very important that your temperatures reach that. And so I'm just going to pause the camera while it heats up, and maybe I don't know, maybe 5 minutes or so. Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes, and I have a laser, I don't know, it's not really red laser, but it's it might be a laser, I don't know. But anyways, I can check the temperature of my bed there, and I see it's like 53. So there's two reasons for that. Is one, that because I got a hot bed and the piece of glass over the top of that, it takes longer for that glass to heat up. And I don't know how accurate the thermostat checkers are in there, but it's almost 60. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this, and of course, just gonna go up here, say print, and I'll show you what I'm making here. Well, first let me get this while it's going here. So one thing, you see a lot of videos. Watch how close it gets to the glass. Oh, you can't see it because of that darn paper clip. Shoot. Where is it? There. Look how close that is. And it's only because we're zoomed in, so it almost looks like it's right on the glass. And it's sticking and not curling. And I'm printing these little knobs right there, and it's 100% infill. I'm trying to think of anything else. 0.2 resolution, and I'll make another video maybe with my settings in there. I'm gonna move the camera over here. You can't really see it yet as it gets up, but you can see it's if it was having trouble, it would be like ripping it all up and everything. So it's sticking to the bed really well, and the cool part will come when it's done. And actually it's already at 10%, so it's kind of like flying there, and I have the settings pretty low. It's just such a small item, but again, it's kind of cool. See how close it looks to the bed, and that's already up a couple levels. So I think I'll just pause it here. And what I was going to say is it's really cool how hard it's going to be stuck to the glass. And part of the neat thing about this is how it releases. And I'll show you that as time goes on. But I'm just going to pause it here. It's about 20%. And then I'll pick it up when it's done. Alright, so it's done printing. And one nice thing is that it automatically is going into the stepper motor's got disabled by itself. And it looks like it already set the, kind of like went down in a cool down mode. I don't know if it goes any faster if I tell it. But it's cooling down pretty quick on its own. I'll probably just leave it like that. Sometimes I go into the menu and tell it to go into cool down mode. Now, that piece is on there pretty good. And if I were to try to pick that up, if I took those paper clips off, I could grab that piece there and lift it up, and it'd be stuck on there so hard that it would just pick up the whole glass. So the secret, the next secret, which is really cool, is how to get that off. And all you do, here, let me pull it out a little bit. Because the stepper motors are disabled, and you want to make sure it says so up top, you can just slide this out, and I'm just going to let that cool out. Let's see if this will even, there's a couple little straggles there. See how that piece just came off? That's how that whole, right now I only used a skirt on there, I didn't put a brim. Hold on, let me raise the camera up a little bit. There we go, it's a little bit easier. So, I used to use a brim to get it to stick. But by raising the bed temperature to 60 and extrusion to 195, I don't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to press on the skirt a little bit. And I like using a skirt because it kind of gets my, well, you can't see my finger motions. It kind of gets my extrusion starting to prep the filament. And as it liquefies and kind of goes on there, it kind of cleans it all up before it actually does the print. So that's why I like to use the skirt. So that's my current method. And again, I used to use I think it's called a brim, and I actually used to use a pretty big one, but it's stuck on there really hard. Like I said, look at this skirt, it's not moving. Whoop, there it is, it kind of moved, but it's also cooled down quite a bit. It's down to 42, but see how easy it came off? I'm not going to mess with it anymore. Let me show you the. So that's what we're at right now. The nozzle's down to 37, as you can see, and 41 for the bed. So I'm gonna, well, here's something else to give you an idea. Where'd my thermal gun go? These things are really handy. The reason being is, like, I'll just hit this piece over here, and it's 21 degrees on that, on the table there. And then the bed, one thing I noticed is if I go to the corner here, it's also 21. Same, so the corners right here cool down really rapidly and don't really get heated up because the heating elements go over. They don't quite go out to the corner. So that kind of shows you what the room temperature of the bed should be. So it's at 22, and as I move in, that's in the 30s. Right there's in the almost 40s. And then the actual item is like 37, it's almost 40. And so in my screen saying it's 40 right now. So it's fairly close towards the temperature of the center of the bed. Anyhow, I'll quit talking and I'll just come back when it's down to close to 20. And like I said, I've done this before, I ain't going to do it now. If I took these clips off, I could literally pick this bed up. That's how stuck that's on there. And when the bed cools down to almost room temperature, you'll see, sometimes you'll even hear it do a little pop. If you're fortunate enough just to be around when it cools to that right point. But I'll pick this up after it cools down. Alright, so hopefully this works. So my temperature down, you can't see that anyways. It's down, it says it's at 25, which is almost room temperature. See what my gun says. 24, 23, so actually it's cooler than up there. And so there you go, just comes right off. Like I said, it was stuck on there so hard before it cooled down that you could pick up the whole bed with it. And so I'm thinking that's the secret to that's the secret to nicely printing on glass. And it does it. It's kind of cool. It's probably not going to show up well on camera, but it's got a glass like finish on the bottom because it was on pure glass. So it's like extremely smooth. And the camera's having a hard time focusing. But anyways, you'll just have to trust me. It's very smooth on the bottom, and which is pretty nice because this is I'm gonna put a 3mm nut in there. You can kind of see how well it came out there. Anyways, I'm very well pleased with this, and so I got the best of both worlds. It's when I print, it's sticking on the glass with no glue or anything, hairspray or anything like that. And then after you let it cool, then it just comes right off, so you don't have to fight with it to get it off the bed. And by not yanking and pulling and stuff, your bed's most likely still leveled out. Anyways, hope you find this interesting. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, and if you subscribe, you'll see more videos like this when they come out. Thank you for watching.